On tonight's episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, we're talking about our top three picks in the first three rounds. We want to get your thoughts as well around your realistic ideas there, as well as Broncos beware. What players should the Broncos beware of within this draft? All that and more, all your comments and questions right here on the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Let's go. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network and sponsored by our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. My name is Keith Brugman. I'm not alone. We're counting down the days to the NFL draft. I can't believe it's right around the corner. The NFL draft show, the Pick is in draft show, what we're going to be putting on right around the corner. But I got to welcome you in and let you say hello to our other hosts on the screen. I'm going to say hello to Mr. Jody, the Judge Moncrief. How are we doing tonight, Jody?
What's up, everyone? Just a little over a week out from this draft. Excited. We're about to find out how close Peyton and both Peytonsville we are to a Super Bowl.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. It's countdown days, and it's a lot of speculation. And I'm also, I was thinking, especially as I heard some of the speculations, and my good friend Kenny Kirkpatrick, who I'm turning to next, will like this, is, who's making the pick, who's in charge. When it comes to the Giants, there's a lot of questions. Giants being one of Kenny's other great football teams he follows, but he's here talking Broncos tonight, man. And it's going to be interesting as we're counting down the days, getting to our picks that we really want to see.
Yeah, and it definitely is, Keith. It's going to be fun. We got fun things lined up next week. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. We got new segments tonight we're going to introduce, weekly segments. Audience is going to be involved, so stay tuned for that in a little while. Draft's almost here. The anticipation's here. I know there's a lot of hellos coming in. Ernie, I said hello back to you, but it's coming up on YouTube on my end. He said hello to me on Facebook. So I just want to let him know I said hello there. And, good to see everybody out there. And I'll let Keith do the introductions. But Keith, if you don't mind, I'll say hello to our friend Michael Ronquillo, everybody's friend Michael Ronquillo. He just sent 1,000 stars. Oh. Good evening, Keith, Jody, and Kenny. Go Bo Broncos. Everybody's friend Michael Ronquillo.
After this many times doing it, we haven't done a clap up. It absolutely deserves a clap up. Thank you.
He truly is. It's a name I've given Michael, but he truly is everybody's friend. He supports everybody's shows, our shows here on Rocky Mountain Sports Network, over on my other podcast family, K&K Sports Show. He supports us all, and he's truly is everybody's friend.
Yeah. Absolutely. Michael Ronquillo. And I've also kind of supported him in his ventures in getting into all the different news outlets or wherever he's tapped into. Michael Ronquillo is a great guy to follow out there on the Twitterverse, out there on the Facebook. He has a lot of different breaking news left, right. In other words, always appreciate Michael Ronquillo. And thank you again. 1,000 stars. Huge clap it up. Everyone's friend, as he said. Mr. Roy Osborne says, hey there, Horseman and the posse. What the heck has happened to your beard? Yeah, a lot of questions around that. Fresh new start, and who knows? It's probably coming back. Yeah, shaving accident. Shaving accident. What happened? Mr. Graham coming in here giving us the mile high salute. Ernie Mays saying hello to you as well. And saying hello to Judson Cake as well. Thank you, Judson Cake, for joining us. That's a new name. Appreciate you joining us. And hopefully you're going to be part of the equation, part of the conversation. Patrick Wiltsey coming in here and saying, aloha, 3/4 of the horsemen. That's right. We are missing one. Mr. Trevor Salzman, I expect him to be back in here on Friday night. Of course, we go live every Tuesday, every Friday, 7:30 p.m. And one last one just jumping in. Adam, Kayla, family, absolutely love you. Let's go Broncos. Let's go Broncos is right. Kenny, this was your idea, man. I'm going to kick this off with you. We said, hey, if we really thought through this NFL draft through the first 3 rounds, and we're thinking what's realistic, what's plausible, what's possible, but what's also kind of a dream, what would be our picks for round 1, round 2, and round 3? Now, yeah, you're not going to go ahead and you're not going to get Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter. And none of this is possible. Real plausible, possible ideas. This is what you brought to the table, correct, sir?
Yes, and definitely I could start it up. But like I said, three round wish list, and in my fun, unique way, I lived the Jersey Shore, plenty of summers spent at the New Jersey Shore. So you walk, you see seashells and stuff. I still go there every summer. Well, happens to be I found the
real quick question: do you ever see Sally on the seashore?
Sally sold seashells by the seashore.
Sorry, go ahead.
If I do that too fast, I'll probably stutter the rest of the show. So, let's play a little game. Found the genie lamp on there. That genie lamp looks like my co-host. My genie popped out, and it looks like my co-host on K&K and Let's Talk Broncos, Mr. Kurt Valenti's my genie. He's going to grant me 3 wishes because he's a huge Bronco fan. So in my first wish, he pops out. He offers me first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick. That'll be on the Broncos. I know it's not going to make Michael happy. I know it's not going to make a lot of people happy. I truly think Omarion Hampton's the second best running back in this league, and the Broncos need running back more than any other position in this draft. Needs a hit. And why not go get him at 20 if he's mocked even earlier to the Cowboys, 12? You might see him go to the Bears at 10. If he's sitting there at 20, that's my first round wish list. You can't take away the fact of him averaging almost 7 yards a carry and over 20 touchdowns last year. So put that on the Broncos offense, double-digit touchdowns to an offense that's already going to be, looking good on paper. Sign me up. First round wish list, Omarion Hampton will be my first pick.
Omarion Hampton, a strong first round pick. It certainly fills a position of need. And it's a guy that's realistically could be there for the Denver Broncos, could be a guy that they could go after Ashton Genty's gone. He's looking like the number 2 on the board for most people. So Omarion Hampton, that's your guys. That's your guy. I understand it, Kenny. We'll get to him again later in the program as we move along.
But one thing really quick.
Yes, sir.
Size is 6 foot 220, so a good size for the running back. 22 years old, good age for a running back. You're going to get some good years out of him. And he's an average receiver, but looks for contact. So I want that in my running back. Fall forward. That's what I want when you're hit. And he'll look for contact. He won't run out of bounds. So sign me up, first round wish list. Thank you, Mr. Valenti, my genie.
Before we get to off your Valente genie and on to Jody Moncrief, coming in here with a couple of different comments, but Phil coming in here with some stars as well. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate the stars.
I give Phil claps Keith. Too.
Give Phil some clap. Yeah, absolutely. And not just the golf clap that I almost gave right there. I'm sorry about that. Good evening, Keith, Judge, and Kenny. He says, give me Hampton or Warren at 20. So he's got his first pick in. And is Warren going to be there? It's probably the one that would be most nervous of actually still being there at 20 between your two. So in this scenario, in my opinion, more likely to be right in line with what you just said, Kenny. Amarian Hampton as a dream pick is your number one. Mr. Matt Staffiero coming in saying hello, and he's saying
Matt?
for him, Kenneth Grant, round one, would be his dream pick in round one, bolstering that wide receiver. Reading through the comments, bolstering that defensive line, one that a lot of people, including our good friend and the fourth horseman, Mr. Trevor Salzman, would like to see bolstered as well. But Jody, I'm going to turn to you, man. I haven't got a list from you, so these are all going to be surprises. So your dream, but realistic pick in round one, who's it going to be, sir?
I'll give two answers. My dream is Tetian McMillan. But realistically, I think Meko Buka. He put up numbers at Ohio State with other wide receivers in front of him from the freshman this year. Last year he had I'm drawing a blank from the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, I'm sorry.
The wide receiver from the Jets. I'm drawing a blank again.
Garrett Wilson,
and he still put up big time numbers with those guys ahead of him. I think he would fit right in as a number two, learn from Sutton, and can develop to a true number one wide receiver. So, Emeka Buka for me.
Okay, all right, Emeka Buka. I like both your answers. I'm going to bring up Paul Schaefer. He's been joining us in on the comments as well. He gave us all three, so I'll just maybe read his first, which is Emeka Buka. So you and Paul, right in line. Paul, thanks for joining in. I'll try to get back to your 2 and 3 as we go through our 2 and 3. For Mr. Michael Ronquillo, he says running back Amarian Hampton vision is not good for him. Paul Schaefer says no Warren, no Genty. So got a little bit of feedback there. Feedback there. So for me, and it's a name that's been mentioned. It's been a name that's been mentioned from one of you two gentlemen. It's been a name that's been mentioned in the comments as well. For me, Tetaroa McMillan, that's my guy. I think he's a guy that could lead up to being a replacement for one Cortland Sutton. I think he's a guy that could still be on the field and take that spot that we've been hoping a Devon Vele or somebody could step up. I was trying to think about who was or Tim Patrick. All of a sudden, I'm losing names like Jody was losing names. Thanks a lot, Jody. Tim Patrick, the role that Tim Patrick wanted to have, or again, we kind of go down the Reynolds when he came in. Again, just a role that we've been trying to fulfill. And what better guy than a guy like Tet McMillan, man. I love what he brings to the table. It might be a little bit of a stretch for him to come all the way down to 20, but I've been watching past drafts, first rounds, left, right, and otherwise. It's amazing what happens in these drafts, gentlemen. It's amazing what happens. You never know. And I don't think it's that far off that it's that big of a stretch. So I'm going there with Tet McMillan. But I did like your second choice, Jody, if it happened not to be there, Emeka Buka, as well as Paul's.
Who's your second choice if he's not there? Because he's my first choice too, but I don't think he's going to be there.
I would be right in line with both of you guys. I like Emeka Buka second. If he's not there, that's the guy I would put there. I would be right in line with you. I've been on here talking about Emeka Buka before. I like what he brings to the table. He's a great possession receiver. I love his route running. And like you said, continue to produce even though he's in an offense that had high producers all around him. Right. We're even talking about running backs probably a few of us throughout the next few minutes as well. And one of them might be coming out of Ohio State if things were in your liking. So again, just a talent-loaded team, but Tet McMillan is something big in my opinion. So Round two. Let's start back off around the other way. Jody, I'm going to go to you, and then I'll come around to Kenny on the round two. Things worked out. Things were looking good. Kind of a dream pick for you. Who would be sitting there in round two?
My number one running back, Quinton Junkins, 6 feet, 220. Did it both in the SEC and ACC. Just a great runner, and doesn't have the tread like some of these other running backs. He split time with Travion Henderson last year, so put up over 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. If we can get him in the second round, that's probably my number one guy in the draft for me that I want.
There you go. I just was listening to a podcast, a live podcast, where a gentleman had Tyler Warren as his number 5 tight end. So you never know exactly how these guys are ranked. You have Judkins right there as your number 1. I don't think you're going to be the only one out there as far as 32 teams that might be thinking that way. And if you can get him there in round 2, you just might be getting the steal like Sean Payton likes to get, a guy that we had graded as a round 1 guy we picked up in round 2. I could hear that coming off of his lips. Kenny, where are you going now that we're heading into round 2? Who's your dream but possible and plausible pick in the second round?
Okay, so Jeannie Kurt, my second wish. If you asked me this 2 months ago, I'm a University of Miami Hurricanes fan, and Elijah Arroyo, I still love him on the Broncos. I would still love him. But there's a guy at the same position, tight end. Second round, I think he could be there. I know a lot of people are saying he's going to go early, maybe even first round. I still think he could be there, and maybe in the second round you move up a few spots. And that's Mason Taylor out of LSU, 6'5", 255 tight end with the pedigree. Dad, Hall of Famer, Jason Taylor. Uncle, Hall of Famer, Zach Thomas. Played at LSU. And when you think of LSU, just like Ohio State, you think of wide receiver first. Mm-hmm. Garrett Wilson, you got your Ohio State receivers. All the great LSU receivers that have come out in the past few years, too many to name. Jamar Chase, Jefferson, Odell Beckham, et cetera. Malik Neighbors currently on the Giants, et cetera. You never hear tight ends. What do you not? And by the way, thoughts and prayers to LSU. Just, the LSU, the family, the Lacey family, and the teammates over there. But where I was alluding to is you don't see a wide receiver coming out in this year's draft mentioned for LSU, but you see Mason Taylor mentioned. Receivers first, offense, tight end second. I think Mason Taylor and Sean Payton's offense could be something special, playing behind Evan Ingram, learning. He's going to get better in the blocking. His blocking's not terrible. He can improve on it, but it's not an F grade at blocking. Give me Mason Taylor climbing up my boards each day. And, maybe by next week, it's my first round wish list. But right now, it's my second round wish list. That's how much I'm high on him.
I get it, buddy. I get it. Honestly, high consideration as I started to go through. I was trying to find a spot for Mason Taylor. I didn't know if I wanted to put him here in the second, and I knew he wouldn't be there in the third. That's just not unrealistic. And hopefully I don't come across as too unrealistic on my second round pick for me. The second round pick I have is a guy that, he's been rumored that maybe the Broncos should pick him at number 20. So I have no idea if he's going to be here at 51. And like you said, Kenny, maybe with Mason Taylor, maybe there's a guy that you still maybe trade up a little bit if he's coming close in the second round. I'm going Travion Henderson. I think that, again, with all the different positions of need where running back ranks for a lot of these different teams, I understand this is a deep class. I don't know if they're going to see a whole lot go in the first round. I think you're going to start seeing them get picked off second and third round at a pretty high rate. I'm hoping that Travion Henderson is still there, sitting there at 51. But Travion Henderson, I think, would be a fantastic addition to this Denver Broncos team.
Now, Keith, I could just say, trades are allowed. So would you trade up for Travion Henderson a few spots?
A few spots, but I'm not giving away the farm at this point.
Exactly.
But, trading up in the second round compared to trading up in the first round are two different things. As you continue to move down in rounds, it's not nearly as scary. You're sitting there with multiple sixth round picks in this draft. Again, there's possibilities and ways to get there.
Well, hey Keith, why do you think Mason Taylor's moved so far up the board so quickly?
I think that Mason Taylor for me is a wide receiver first tight end with a reliable background. I mean, the guy set records at LSU as a tight end. Sets all-time records as a receiving tight end there. Now, he may not be the best blocker, but as you start to look at true receiving tight ends, past the first couple, it starts to get a little more iffy when it comes to the level of competition, what you think they're capable of doing, and what you've just seen them do on the field, in my opinion. So I think that Mason Taylor does fit a niche. My concern is that he is truly a receiving tight end. His blocking ability will have to be coached up a ton, in my opinion, in the NFL at the NFL level.
Yeah, definitely will.
Heading around to round 3, man. I kept reversing the board. I'll keep doing it again, man. I'll start off with our good friend Kenny Kirkpatrick as we head into round 3. Right on time, I think, as far as the podcast is concerned as well.
And I just want to answer Phil because I didn't see Patrick in the comments. He wanted to know, he got a notification from our good friend Patrick Wiltsey over at Lion Coffee about supporting a golf tournament. It is real, Phil. If Patrick isn't here to answer, anyone else got a notification from Patrick, check it out. He's supporting a golf tournament for a good cause. So it is real, Phil. Just wanted to let you know.
Actually, before we jump on, I'm going to get the Judson cake in the third, maybe fourth round. They have a comment that I like. I will get to this one though. Peter Johnson joining us over on Facebook saying Travion is the guy I want out of all the backs. So kind of like the judge was talking about. He has his guy he wants out of everybody else. Travion Henderson, he's the guy above everybody else, and that says a lot because I don't know if we're taking Ashton Genty into consideration. If that's the case, Peter, that says a lot about your picking Travion Henderson. But Kenny, I'm going to get to that third round. Let's kick it off, buddy.
Yep. So I didn't cheat, chat. I didn't cheat, Keith and Jody. Mel Kiper and Field Yates did their 3-round mock draft. They had Omarion Hampton, Mason Taylor in the first 2 rounds, but their 3rd round pick I love, but he's not on my wish list. Alec Aomanners on their 3-round mock. I'm going different. I'm going defense. I've been high on this guy for months. Demetrius Knight, a linebacker out of South Carolina, 3rd round wish list. If he was 21, he'd be a 1st round, early 2nd round grade for me. But he's 24 years old. Yes, he's a linebacker. You got some depth there now with Greenlaw, Singleton coming back, but these guys have an injury history. So you bring in Demetrius Knight, 24 years old school linebacker, which I love. I praise defense, coached it in high school. 6'2", 245, size and power. He'll stop any ball carrier coming his way. Yeah, depth there. Demetrius Knight makes all the sense in the world late in the 3rd round for the Broncos. That concludes my wish list. Omarion Hampton, Mason Taylor, Demetrius Knight.
That's not a bad wish list. Not a bad wish list at all. I'm going to ask Judge this really quick before we get to your round 3. I'm going to pose this as a question. Phil's coming in here and says it's going to be interesting to listen to Peyton and Peyton pre-draft this week. Is there anything that you're looking for or listening for from George Payton, from Sean Payton, as we lead up in the NFL draft? What we'll hear from them. Is there anything that you're hoping to hear, sir?
I want to hear one of them slip how close they really feel this team is. I think the moves this offseason says that they think they're close, but I want to know, is it give the farm away because they think they're one Ashton Genty away from being there, or do they need a few more pieces? How do they really feel?
Okay. Well, then I'm going to take one more divergence just for a second before you give me your pick, because let's finish up this, and then I got to take a divergence, but remind me if I forget. Okay. Round 3, who do you have, sir?
I went defensive tackle Omar Norman Law from Tennessee. I love his size, 6'3", 315. Doesn't put, not the flashiest guy, doesn't put up, big numbers, but he clogs the middle. We've seen that again get exposed in the Buffalo game, and hence why Denver went out and, got Hufanga and Greenlaw right away, re-signed DJ Jones. You got 2 other defensive linemen that are on, the last year of their deal. So I think this is a good rotational piece. He doesn't have to come in and start day one, but he can be a solid rotational guy for you that can transition into a starter.
Fair enough, man.
And Judson agreed with both of us. How about that? Did you see Judson's last comment, Keith?
I did. How about that? Knight's a great pick in the 3rd round, or Omar Norman Lott, man. So, man, you guys are lockstep. Holy cow. Holy cow. Talk about not cheating. Yeah, that looks like a cheat right there almost. I know that that comment came out certainly before the judge started speaking. So, all right. I like your pick, Jody. And the reason I really like your pick is you're finding somebody in round 3 on the other side of the ball. And I'll be honest, it's something that I failed to do. I wanted to find a spot on the other side of the ball, and I wanted to try to beef up that interior line. Kenneth Grant was a name that was mentioned in the comments, and a guy that I like a ton. I just can't see him being my dream pick, though, in the 1st round. And then I got off track, man. I kept adding weapons for Bo Nix. So for me, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to get the Oregon tight end star, 6'5", 255, Terrence Ferguson. I think if Bo Nix has Terrence Ferguson in the wings, especially since we all know that Evan Ingram is really on kind of a 1-year-ish kind of type of contract, even if he's on a 2-year contract, you need to find that replacement. I like Terrence Ferguson. And as you're reuniting Bo Nix with a former teammate once again. Why not? I like it. It's the 3rd round. It's a need, in my opinion. And I think that, again, just add weapon, add weapon, add weapon. I sound like the genie, Kurt Valente. Load up, go now. It's time to win. Get Bo Nix his weapons, because I went Tet McMillan, Travion Henderson, Terrence Ferguson. I'm trying to get him taken care of.
That's a good 3, Keith, in my opinion. You get him each position of need too. You improve that each position in the draft on paper, and that's what you want, going into the season. So that's a great 3 picks, and Jody as well, in my opinion. I think we all did pretty well, and I think that would be a great wish list. Be nice to see 1 or 2 of these players for each of our wish lists come out, next Thursday. It'd be nice to see a couple of these players on the Broncos next week.
Yeah. It's always nice to put these ideas, these thoughts out here, the mock drafts, whatever you're doing. This is kind of a mock draft in a way, kind of a 3-round mock draft, if everything kind of falls your way in that mock draft, as it is, right? Yes. So it's always interesting to see exactly how it's going to play out. You try to get excited about people. I kind of try to watch myself as far as, especially our next segment as we get in, not talking down too much of players, because you never know when they might just end up on your team as well. So that being said, I did say I wanted to get back to this. For Paul, his top 3 was Emeka Egbuka, Omarion Hampton, and Jason Taylor's son, of course.
Mason Taylor.
Mason Taylor. All of a sudden, I had Elijah Arroyo on my head because of what you were talking about earlier, Kenny. So Mason Taylor in there as well. So it's a strong 3 from Paul as well, and kind of went the same way as me, as really getting taken care of the offensive on the offensive side of the ball. So, as far as captain is concerned, anytime you reunite former teammates, it's a good thing. Michael Ronquillo says cornerback Maxwell Hairston met with the Broncos on Monday via Broncos insider Mike Kliss. A guy that Kenny, I think was one of the first people to start talking about and answer questions about the whole nine. Go ahead, sir.
You can go to the Broncos and Michael, that if Kurt would grant me 4 wishes, that would be my one. That would be my extra wish, because 4.29 at the combine, the guy hits. Go watch. I can't praise it enough. Type in YouTube, for those out there on YouTube land, Maxwell Hairston's 2023 highlights, and watch what he did in 2023. Kentucky praises defense, and he fits right in. Whatever team he's going to go, he's going to be a game changer, in my opinion. So keep an eye out for him on where he gets drafted on Thursday.
Want to talk about another game changer? I got another game changer for you. That's our sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, estate gold wholesale prices. They've been doing it for over 34 years. Once a nationwide company, now they're just in your backyard. Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming. They're out there doing shows week in, week out. Pearl, if you're out there, please remind me, because I don't have it in my notes, where you're at this week. I know that you were leading into a show, if I remember correctly. If you're not able to make it to one of those amazing shows that they're out there doing, seems like every single week, don't worry, got you covered. Head on over to Etsy, type in Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. And there you are. Bam, you're seeing all the amazing treasures that Pearl has to offer, including silver, sterling silver, 100% sterling silver. All of the orders that you place over $50 shipped absolutely free, and all major credit cards are accepted. Make sure you check out Morgan Trinkets today for all your Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and estate gold, as well as that sterling silver. Check them out. Again, Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. over on Etsy today. Well, we went from our top 3 dreams, gentlemen, to now we've got to talk about, well, we got to beware. Maybe beware. I decided to name this Broncos Beware. Maybe we're just a little bit nervous. Maybe there's something that just stands out that we just don't like. Just doesn't feel good. It doesn't scratch that itch like we'd like. So we made up a list of some Broncos Beware. Those players out there in the NFL draft that maybe we have some questions on, and maybe the Denver Broncos should have some questions on, as far as where they take them and when they take them, or if they take them at all. So Krill's saying at the National Special Shelty Specialty until Saturday, Greeley, Colorado. Check out Morgan Trinkets. That's where you want to find them. The National Shelty Specialty until Saturday, right there in Greeley, Colorado. Kenny, this was also your idea, man. You set the agenda for us.
Team effort.
It's all right, brother. I liked your ideas. We ran with them, and I think it's going to make another fantastic episode, like we always try to put out. But Kenny, I'll let you kick it off once again, and we'll start wrapping it around. Who is your number one? Broncos Beware.
Sure. Posse, please play along. Throw your players in there. You're concerned about being on the Broncos next year. Not necessarily, could be many reasons. The first guy I'm putting on this list, could be a tremendous player, but the off the field issues that I'm hearing are scaring me and steering me away, and he may even slip into the second round. Next, the wide receiver out of Missouri, Luther Burden. Mm-hmm. Sean Payton, old school coach. I don't think he would go for that. But what happens in a couple of years? This guy's contract, is he going to hold out? There's just a lot of future problems that could lead by drafting Luther Burden. I'm hearing he's a bad practice player. That mean he's a bad teammate? He went to University of Missouri. When you talk about SEC football, you don't mention Missouri. So Missouri, he probably ran what he wanted to do there or threatened to leave. And just a lot of issues with him, character issues. The talent is there. The talent is there. And if the Broncos want to take a chance on him, I'll believe in it. But I am definitely buying beware. And I've been wrong before. few years ago, Giants fan, I wanted Eric Ebron was my wish list. And he turned out to be pretty much a bust. And my buyer beware was Odell Beckham. At the time, he had a few good years with the Giants. At the end, it did become a beware. So that's the kind of thing I'm seeing with Luther Burden here. He might be good at the start of his career, and then something's going to, lead into character issues again. So that's my number one buyer beware.
Fair enough, Kenny. Fair enough. Luther Burden, like you said, team believes in him. Team's done all the background. We don't have the FBI investigators that these guys have looking into every crook and cranny and getting to sit down with all these gentlemen and really figure out, who they are as individuals. So we're doing this from an outside perspective, and it's trying to be respectful, but also trying to put out, hey, some things that maybe worry us, you know what I mean? And wouldn't necessarily put them maybe at the top of our boards or at the top of the round or wherever you may have them placed. Turn over to the judge, man. No better way than go to the judge for his first pick as far as Broncos beware.
For me, it's Cam Scatterbo. He reminds me of Toby Gerhart. I just have bad feeling when he comes in. He didn't show me a lot of burst or anything. Trying to run over guys, I don't think is going to work in the NFL like he did in college. That's the one running back of all the running backs that I want to steer clear of.
Yeah. I get that, man. A little bit of what you said, man. I thought you brought up a good point. The run over mentality that he has, does that translate to the NFL? The very few NFL running back or college running backs are going to be able to match up among the best of the best when you go into the NFL level. Guys that are at a different size, a different age, a different maturity. You're talking about like 22-year-old guys going up against nearly 30-year-old men. It's a whole different league. And you're right. I don't think that necessarily translates. It's a great way to maybe question where you want to take him. And, if you go after a Cam Scatterbo. I like it, man. I like it. I did want to, I'm going to segue after this because I said remind me. No one reminded me. And and I did want to get back to something really quick because I see Michael Ronquillo jumped in the comments as well. It's funny where I'm going to go in round one just because of where we went in our prior segment and where Kenny went in his prior segment. Because my buyer beware number one is going to be Omarion Hampton. I really think that he has benefited from the fact that someone else needed to be elevated to that number 2 running back position. Everyone was concentrated on Ashton Genty. And then there was a bunch of guys. And we've seen, I think, Omarion Hampton creep up and creep up and creep up to the point that he's somehow become this solid number 2 and overall consensus for the Denver Broncos. I don't like his vision in the pocket as he goes to the line. I don't like the way he creeps up there, hoping that something opens up for him to get that burst and then go trucking guys or making a move, or he certainly has the speed to run away. I get all that. But we just got done talking about how things don't translate to the NFL level. If he gets tripped up at that line of scrimmage, he typically goes down. And I don't think you can take his running style and translate it 100% to the NFL, not for the 20th overall pick. I just don't like him at the 20th overall pick. I think he's been elevated too high, and I don't think he should be a lock at number 20 for the Denver Broncos. So Broncos beware as far as I'm concerned. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of people have said it. Hey, watch the way he approaches the line. I don't like it. I don't like his vision. Don't like his vision.
His pass protecting is what worries me. I mean, you've seen why Williams was on this team last year, it wasn't because he was an outstanding runner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were games he got 0 carries and played a lot of snaps because he could pass block.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And if you're looking for a replacement for that, Amarian Hampton is probably not your number one pick.
And he runs like Le'Veon Bell to me too.
Correct. That's the exact same comp I had. Thank you. That's exactly how I see him. I feel like he's kind of slow in the hole.
My one response, my one sentence argument on that was Le'Veon Bell was a pretty darn good running back early in his career.
Yeah, I think it was a system type of situation, though. You saw it once he tried to work his way out, and he end up to the Jets and then quickly out of the league. I would have liked to see more Le'Veon Bell, though. I thought he was an interesting back, if none the least. So
it's one of those things where if he gets drafted to the Broncos, let's hope I'm right. If he doesn't, and goes to an AFC West rival, let's hope I was wrong.
There you go. I said I wanted to get to it. I don't want to miss it. We'll tear through our next couple of picks here, gentlemen, because we have another segment we would like to get to as well, and I'll announce that in just a few moments. But Michael Ronquillo says, and I heard this, and I wanted to talk about this. Running back Ashton Jeanty said during a podcast yesterday, the Broncos and the Raiders had the most interest in him, had the most, not only the most interest, but the most contact with him so far through the pre-draft process. I want to ask just really quick, because it really just brings into speculation. Are you, and I'll go around the horn, I'll start with Mr. Jody the Judge. Are you willing to trade up for Ashton Jeanty in this NFL draft?
I am not. He's not my number one running back. 2, I'm hesitant on the competition he played against. He did have the big game against Ohio State. I will give him that, but he played against a lot of inferior competition. And he's got a lot of tread on his tires. I mean, they ran him into the ground last year. And his size, he's only 5'8", so there are some things that worry me about him.
Yeah, okay. I'll go quickly over to Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick. What are your thoughts on an Ashton Jeanty? Would you trade up for him?
I would trade up for him, but I'm not trading. He's got to get past the Raiders. He's got to get past the Bears. I'll see if the 49ers want to make a trade with me, get ahead of the Cowboys.
Okay.
If the 49ers don't want to want too much, I pass. It's a hard pass for me, but if that's Peyton's guy, I got to believe it. I was wrong on Bo Nix, and I'm the first one to admit that. That was Peyton's quarterback. If he says, this is my running back that can take us to the next level, you gotta believe that and respect that if they want to move up that far.
I'll put this 2 parts, but I'll do it quick. I believe if you wanted to move up a few picks for Ashton Jeanty, I think he's well worth the value. If you think he's that guy, and a lot of people do, moving up a few picks because he's fallen to that point, no problem in my opinion. I also think, and I'm going to put it out there right now, don't put it past trading up to the Jets at number 7 with number 7 in a pick swap plus in order to get there. And I'm just going to float that out there. Jets have been obviously a big trade partner for the Broncos in the past, and with Darren Mugi getting over there as well, you just never know. You never know. The Jets need a lot of things. I don't know if they need the number 7 overall pick, and the Broncos would be happy maybe to jump up into that position and shock the NFL world early in the NFL draft.
I will say, if they move up to number 7 to draft him, I think they're pushing all their chips in the middle for this year. They are telling you that they're one running back away from being where Kansas City, Philadelphia was last year.
And they possibly could be this year. And they might have to reload on some more weapons and some different weapons next year in order to maintain that. But they may feel that way, and I'm just floating it out there. That's maybe a possibility. Gentlemen, let's run through the next few. I'll just go back to Jody. Who else do you have on your list?
Tez Johnson. His size alone worries me. I mean, he's barely 150 pounds. Run across the middle, and he's going to get lit up by big time linebackers, and I don't know that he can take that kind of punishment.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Judson Cake, yeah, Tez at 156 pounds. one hit. That's
Well,
one
imagine
hit.
Desmond Watson Judson hitting him at 450.
Right. Kenny, I'm not going to elaborate 2 minutes on these picks. Who do you
Quick
have?
rapid fire style for
Yeah.
me. First one, I'll just do rapid fire because it's a position of need. Beware of Harold Fannin Jr. When you talk about wide receiver, this is truly a wide receiver at 230 pounds, going to be slow transition to the NFL. There is no block in there. But the two that I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to give you a twofer. And it's the two edge rushers from Texas A&M. Buyer beware on one of them. I don't know which one. Shamar Stewart. 1.5 sacks, only five tackles for a loss, and he's supposed to be an elite pass rusher. I'd be a little concerned about that transition into the NFL. Or Nick Skirton, who's not lighting it up neither with 5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss is a little better, but I'm going to make a bold prediction that one of these two is complete bust in the NFL. So beware on the A&M edge rushers.
All right, man. Does that wrap up your list, or do you have one more?
Yeah. Who else?
No, you're all good. I got to get mine in. No.
Issues.
Whoa. Oh, go ahead.
I forgot you didn't go.
I didn't go. It's all right. It's okay. Go ahead and finish. You started with Mike Green.
I just had Mike Green. Just going to read the names. Mike Green that I had on here. And for the Broncos only, Gray Zabel, because it's not a position of need, in my opinion. Where's he going to play? Who's he going to take time away from? Would be my concern with that pick. But anywhere else, he's going to be maybe a good player in the NFL. Those are my buyer bewares.
Very good. I only have one more. Jody, if you have one more, we'll end it up with you or finalize it with you. My last one, Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan, interior defensive lineman out of Ole Miss. As much as I would love his production at times. What I've been hearing as far as some of the off the field or just maturity issues, even with the team, it worries me. And I just don't want to bring a distraction into the middle of this defensive line. We got to get stronger. I'd like to have somebody with zero character issues, maybe a captain rather than a deterrent on this team. And from what I've heard about Walter Nolan, maybe just a little bit of a Broncos beware if you bring them in. Just got to bring the right people around some of those guys, and they're the right, and they can be turned around the right way. Let's not forget Von Miller wasn't perfect when he came in. DeMarcus Ware came over and really helped turn him into the man he is. He was with the Broncos and is today. So sometimes, again, just a Broncos beware. You never know. I'm not going to say that Walter Nolan shouldn't be on our team. Just a little bit of Broncos beware.
Keith,
Fans,
I forgot one. Look, Matthew Golden, Michael alluded to him. A lot of drops. I think you'd be afraid to have two players. Franklin with his drops last year, concerns, and Golden bringing him to the Broncos. That would be definitely a buyer beware with the drops.
Very good.
I do have one more guy, Desmond Watson.
Yes.
His size really worries me. I mean, 6'6", 464. I mean, he's so big. How long can his body hold up with that kind of weight? His knees.
Push stopper.
That kind of how long can he hold up with that kind of size?
Fair enough. Some guys that you just, again, on our radar, we're going to be heading into draft now. We're going to have an amazing draft show. Can't wait for that. And we might go just a little bit longer, but we're going to announce a new segment. I want to get everyone's thoughts. We'll try to pick out some of the best. It's going to be called the Hurry Up. So we're going to do some rapid fire questions from the posse. Get your questions in. Get your questions in now. I'm going to hit one more comment, give you guys a little bit of time, because I think this is maybe another Broncos beware. It's coming in from Phil McLaughlin. His Broncos beware. He says, my biggest Broncos, quote unquote, beware is giving up picks to move up in the first round. Jody, are you and Phil in lockstep? Because it sounds like you guys might be in lockstep. Would that be also a Broncos beware for you, giving up picks to move up in the first round?
It would no, because I have two guys I would move up for.
Okay,
McMillan and Warren. I would move up for those two guys.
Very good. And do you think it's a very good plausibility and possibility that you'd have to move up for both of those gentlemen in order to secure their rights?
Yeah, I think Warren probably goes top 15. Same with McMillan. You're going to have to move up probably 12 to 12 to 15, somewhere in that range.
So my dream at number one was truly a dream in your opinion. Kenny, biggest beware giving up picks to move up in the first round, or how do you feel about moving up in the first round? Is Phil on par with you, or do you have a different take?
I disagree a little bit with Phil because we said Ashton Genty, you need running back. If you can go get the best at the right price, I'm all in for that, Phil, because the Broncos are not as far away as people think they are. You're way ahead of schedule, and if you can get a game changer in Genty, and Peyton believes he's the game changer, I would move up, and I would not be afraid to move up for a player of that caliber.
And this is something I agree with Kurt. I don't need 3 6th-round picks. I don't need a guy that may or may not make this roster. If Denver feels the way I do that you're this close, you need impact players. I don't need a 4th or 5th corner or a 6th or 7th lineman.
Yep. Well, I'm going to take this as we wait for just a few more questions to maybe come in for our hurry up right now. I want to take this to the other side. Anybody, anything goes, any questions, drop them in the comments. We're going to be hitting those as we get on out of here, or as we prepare to get on out of here. I'm going to take it to the other side. Jody, how do you feel about trading back in this draft? You just talked about, hey, I don't want a bunch of 6th, 7th round guys. That does me no good. I'd rather get a bunch or a few great guys. So what are your thoughts about trading back from the number 20 pick, to a team that's wanting to move up? I got to get your mic on though, buddy.
I'm not really in favor of it. And going off of Peyton's past, I mean, he's only traded back once in almost 20 years. So there's enough top talent there that you can get a starter at 20.
Very good. Very good. Not in favor. Kenny, we'll wrap this up with you and I just really quick, and then we'll hit our new segment.
I would trade back a couple spots if the board fell in favor of the Broncos getting one of those players. 20 to 23, 20 to 25 range, get a 4th round pick in return. Drafts are won in those middle rounds, 3, 4, 5, in my opinion. So you can get an extra 4th round pick out of the deal by just moving back a couple spots if the board fell in the Broncos' favor.
Yeah, I think it depends on the player that you have sitting there, or the players that you have sitting there. I just watched, I think it was the 2023 draft, first round. The Jaguars dropped back 1 pick, probably picked up a couple draft picks in the process, and then they dropped back once again, just 1 pick. Their guy that they picked was a completely different position than the 2 picks that were picked in front of them. So obviously they thought this guy was, going to still be there when they were there. If you're talking about moves like that, and you're able to pick up some additional draft capital in the process, yeah, I'm all for it. But I'm not for like all of a sudden dropping back from 20 to number 29 because because again, with 8, 9 guys in between you and in your next pick, there's a good possibility you're going to be out unless you're willing to trade back up. So again, that's just my thoughts, man. I'd be willing, but I'd be very trepidatious about it, I guess is the best way to put it. But without further ado, man, let's introduce our brand new segment, man.
Let's go.
All right, man. Andale. That's our good friend Peyton Manning in there in the background, getting us all prepped for the hurry up. I got some questions in there. I told Kenny he'd be able to pick them out. And so, Kenny, I want you to tell me where you want to go first.
Okay, I'll go with Judson's first, and I can answer that one. Do you think Isaac Tesla or Efton Chisholm would fit in Broncos' system? I think Efton Chisholm would in a late round pick, take a late 6th round pick on him, maybe 5th. Fits the role of Cooper Kupp. 120 receptions last year. Over 1,300 yards, played at Eastern Washington just like Cooper Kupp. Kind of looks like him a little bit too. Double-digit touchdowns, 11 yards a carry. So thank you, Judson, for being the first of many questions on the hurry up, which is going to be a 5-minute segment, chat. So, and posse. So we're going to do our best to get them all in 5 minutes.
All right, man. Where do you want us to go next?
Captain, are the Broncos going to be super this season? We'll ask you, Keith.
All right, man. Are the Broncos going to be super this season? I think they're lining up to have everything in front of them. If everything plays out, the Broncos have been great about making sure that these players are fairly injury-free. They're taking the field. They're healthy. They're playing multiple games. Just look what Zach Allen was able to do last year, the amount of snaps that he got, even missing one game. It's amazing. And if we can bring in the talent that we brought in free agency and plug all the holes that we did, and now we can go out there and load up in this draft in which we haven't had a first-round pick in so long, I think the Broncos are on pace to be super this season.
Our good friend Peter Johnson follows both of our networks. Welcome, Peter. Provided the board falls, how do we think it will? Provided the board falls how we think it will, which player do you boys absolutely not want the Broncos to draft? We can all answer this one rapid fire style, Jody, maybe 15 seconds or less.
At 20,
at 20, yeah, at 20.
Hampton for me.
Hampton for you. I guess I'm going to go to Keith next because I'm guessing that's the same for you.
I'll go a different way because I have a good friend that messaged me and he likes Luther Burden at the 20 pick, but provided what you just said, I'll go that route. I'll go Luther Burden. Questions there as far as character, enough for him to drop back a little bit in my mind.
And I'll go a different route since you guys went that route. I'm going to say Gray Zabel. I think he's got a chance to be really good, but for the Broncos at 20, I think it could be a waste of a pick, meaning the Broncos have much more needs on offense to get to that next level. I don't think Gray Zabel is going to get them to the next level. It's going to turn into a numbers game, and you're going to have too much depth at the offensive line. So thanks, Peter, for that question. His is Colston Loveland, so he's got a buyer beware on Colston Loveland. Captain, are Bo and Sean going to get into an argument again? Go ahead, Jody. You're the Bo Nix guy, and you're in bed with Sean now, so you can answer that one. For those who don't know, that's Kurt Valenti, my co-host on K&K's famous line, "In bed with Sean." So,
I can see him getting into it again, but it'll be just like last year. It'll be, in the moment, and when it's done, it's done. It won't be a Peyton Russ type argument.
Yeah.
We'll do the minute countdown, chat. Going to Posse, get some more questions in. If you got anything.
I'll put my 2
Michael,
cents
go
in.
ahead, hurry up. Yeah, give us a hurry up, Michael. We're waiting.
Yeah. I look forward to it. I look forward to it. I even said last year. I said I look forward to Bo Nix failing, and he did that in the first few weeks because I thought that would again kind of galvanize him. You know what I mean? And it's either going to break you or galvanize you. And we saw what it did for Bo Nix. He struggled in the first few weeks, and it galvanized him. We saw that spat on the sidelines, that argument on the sidelines with Sean Payton. And I think they walked away with more respect for each other after that moment than what they had before. And I think they had a ton of respect before. So I look forward to another fight, another argument, another spat on the sidelines, because I think it's all for the good for the Denver Broncos.
I'll wrap it up, Keith. I got one for you guys real quick in the pot as well. Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin, or I don't want to say Blake Watson because he's on the – if Jaleel McLaughlin, assuming the Broncos take a running back, maybe two, who's got more trade value, Jaleel McLaughlin or Audric Estime, Keith? And then I'll ask Bo the same question.
I mean, at this point, you had to say McLaughlin. He's got the most tape out there for the NFL, for NFL's teams to look at. As much as you'd like to go back and try to project what Audric Estime was in college, because Sean Payton didn't use him in the NFL, I don't think most teams are going to do that. They're going to look to see what they have on tape, and McLaughlin would have the most value.
Jody, I think I know which way you're going.
No, I'll agree with what Keith said, even though I, but I'm glad, I'm glad that because I don't want him traded. So
Ernie's
We got one
going
final
Estes.
one.
Yeah, we got one more. We got one final one from Phil. I'll start same order. Keith, do you guys think we'll take a quarterback in the 6th round?
no, because we just picked up the quarterback from Texas. I'm drawing a blank.
Sam Ellinger.
Ellinger. So I'm going to say no.
And you still got Stidham. I'll agree with Jody. How about you, Keith?
I'll go the opposite way. I don't think that Sam Ellinger necessarily precludes you from a guy, especially in the 6th round, if you think that you can add somebody to your roster and compete. So I think with 3 6th-round picks, if you still have those 3 6th-round picks, I think that that's absolutely a possibility, man. Appreciate it, man.
Can I ask you guys one? I got one. A quick one. What do you think was said to Bo Nix during the little mini bye after the Saints game when he was overthrowing guys wide open, one read and run? What was said or what happened there when everything just kind of clicked after that mini bye and he starts staying in the pocket, throwing, and if you prorate his numbers out, he was 40 touchdowns, 4,700 yards from then on out. What was said or what took place there?
Kenny, go ahead.
From a coaching standard, I don't, didn't watch much of the game, but as a former coach in high school, Peyton probably sat down with him a lot that week. The offensive coordinator, they watched a lot of film, a lot of tape. Nix is an older quarterback for a rookie standard, more mature for his age. He listened, and things got turned around, in my opinion.
I wouldn't disagree. I think that Sean, I'd be on the same line. I just got talking about the respect that they have for each other, and I think that they sat down. They went through tape, and Sean basically just pointed out, hey, there's opportunity here if we stay within the pocket. Whether it's another second, and the guy's open. I think it was just a mutual sit down, trying to develop this offense like all the good ones do around your quarterback, what they see, what you're seeing, and trying to just make the best of the situation. In a rookie campaign, you got to make sure that he's comfortable. The nice thing about Bo Nix is he's been shown that he can do it in multiple systems, and he's an intelligent guy. So you can put the 2 and 2 together and go out there and operate. And I think that's what they did. I think they wanted to rely a lot more on his legs to begin with, give him that flexibility, and I think they flipped that switch.
Real quick, we got Phil and Michael will do rapid fire here.
All right.
Rapid fire answer, 1-word answer. Will we draft more defensive or offensive players? I'm going offense, Keith.
Despite what my dream list is, I think I'm going to go on the defensive side of things.
And Jody?
Mike.
Sorry, offense.
Offense for you. And then one more question.
One more from Michael. His hurry-up question is: the Broncos need to follow the Eagles' NFL draft picks. Are you asking, do they need to follow the Eagles' draft picks, Michael? I'm little. I want to just clarify the question there.
Or maybe we could turn it into a question. Do we need to follow the way of the Philadelphia
I think that's
Eagles
what, I think that's what Michael meant. And by the way, he's sending 100 more stars. Thank you, Michael, once again. Everybody's friend, Michael Ronquillo.
Absolutely. A team that's continued to invest in the trenches, regardless of how strong they were, is what I would kind of say is the Philadelphia Eagles path as far as the draft. Would you guys disagree? And if that was from my perspective, I would say yes, definitely on the defensive side of things. I would be a little bit more reluctant on the offensive side, but hey, even our good friend Garrett Bowles is getting a little bit older and we'll need to find a replacement. So you can kind of say on both sides. So I'd say yes, Michael Ronquillo. What are you thinking there, Kenny?
I just agree with him. I'm just going to say yes, 100%, Michael. I mean, look, the Eagles are doing it the right way, and I can't stand it because they're in my division. But just like the Broncos have the Chiefs, I got to deal with the Eagles every year. So definitely agree with you there, Michael. Follow a team like that. Nothing wrong there.
Round it out with Jody.
Yes, for me. I mean, what more can you say? I mean, they dominated in the Super Bowl. They're doing it the right way. Howie Roseman is probably one of, if not the best, top 2 or 3 GMs in football right now. So
And real quick, Keith, we're going to be wrapping up the show, but Posse, let us know in the comments if you like this segment, because we'll bring it back every Tuesday if you guys are enjoying this. So please, the feedback is definitely welcome. Let us know if you like it or not.
Let's go. On the way. Let's go. On the way.
I think I'm loving the hurry up. The hurry up.
That was cool.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, fantastic show, man. Draft is just right around the corner. Days away. We're in single digits now. I can't believe it. We're going to have the Pick Us In draft show. Be watching for the advertisements for that coming down the pike. Got a lot of great things lined up for you. But again, a fantastic show. Jody, the judge, thank you so much for being here. Kenny, Kirkpatrick, thank you for being here. I'm going to give you guys some final thoughts before we jump. And I'll start with the judge. How we doing? Or how we doing? What do you got for us before we leave, Judge?
I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. I'm excited for this first round. I'm excited to see if Denver does make a bold move and move up. If they do, that tells you everything you need to know where they stand on this upcoming season. Whether it's for McMillan, Warren, Genty, whoever it is, they make a bold move and move up. That's telling you that they feel that they are one, possibly 2 pieces away, and I love it. Look what Seattle did with Russ his first year, made the playoffs next year, back-to-back Super Bowls. So you got to do it while you got a quarterback on rookie contract.
Love it. Kenny, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I'm seeing some positive feedback. A lot of people like the segment. So, Keith, I think we're going to bring it back definitely next Tuesday. I mean it when I say it, Posse and friends and Keith and Jody. I love doing this because of all of you. I love interacting with people from all over the country, other countries, and to be able to interact with you all and involve you all in the segment. I absolutely love it. Words can't describe how much I love it. So thank you guys. Thank you for everybody that was listening. And you know you all are out there. I love you all. And tomorrow you'll see us again, K&K Sports Show and Kurt and Let's Talk Broncos. So the genie will be on tomorrow. So, but thanks again, everybody. Great show, everyone. Love you all. Can't wait till next Tuesday and the draft next Thursday.
Absolutely, man. My final thoughts before we get out of here, other than loved hanging out with my fellow posse, well, the posse members. I was going to say my fellow podcasters, actually, first. My fellow horsemen. That's the word I was looking for, man. Great show, great thoughts, great opinions, as always, gentlemen. Always a pleasure to do a podcast with the both of you. The posse, who are absolutely hopping, and oh boy, the hurry up. Yeah, that didn't slow down the comments at all. Hurry up segment is looking like it's going to be sticking around for a while. But to everybody who was in there, way too many names. Even seen one of our good friends, Albert Knoppers, in there. Didn't get to say hello to him, though I put his comment on the screen. Great to see you, Albert. Karen, who's jumping in late here. But everybody that jumped in, our star givers, Michael Ronquillo, Phil McLaughlin, thank you all so much. We appreciate the additional support that you're able to give this show. Certainly means a ton to us. But don't forget, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, I want to say, thanks again to our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. They've been fantastic in supporting us as well. And hey, there's only one way that we do get out of it. Oh, I want to also say, that's what I was going to do. Don't forget, we go live every Tuesday, every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Of course, do all your calculations for other time zones. We are also go on YouTube. We go on Facebook. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Love to take you wherever we can and have you listen to the Denver Broncos and comment like you always do. But we get out of here one way only here on the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Make sure you keep those boots in the stirrups, your guns in your holsters, and of course, the Denver Broncos in your heart. Till next time, we're going to get out of here. Mile high salute. Can't wait to see you again.